green beans, lettuce, just cucumber, squash, cantaloupe, watermelon,
Oh,
like
dang, you're doing
everything I
it.
could find at Home Depot, basically.
Nice.
Yeah, but I have no idea what I'm doing. So it's just, trial and error. They're popping up, so something's working.
Yeah, you're doing better than me. I just planted mine like probably like 3 weeks ago, and nothing is happening. They do not look happy at all.
Well, I would tell you Miracle Grow, but I think that makes it not organic at this point.
Dude, my
But
mom used to use Miracle Grow. I remember when we were kids, we had this little garden in our backyard, and that
yeah,
stuff was it was like watermelons on steroids. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, what in the?
Well, I don't know like how these people grow strawberries. I planted strawberries too, and my strawberry is literally like this big.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
exactly.
so I get like a bite of strawberry now. So I need like 50 plants to feed one child. So
Yeah, it's
I've
like
given up on strawberries.
you go to the grocery store now and you look at the veggies and you're like, what? How did they make these like this? These are
Doesn't that make
super
you question everything?
totally 100%.
But I don't even care. Like if my strawberries are this big from Costco, I'm okay with it. Like that's a half a meal right there.
We were
So
sitting around somewhere. We were at CrossFit HQ, and somebody's talking about like these amazing grass-fed, grass-finished like steaks that they had and where they got it, and they were like super stoked. And Dave Castro was sitting across from everybody, and he looks
uh,
up and he goes, "I like the feedlot ones better." He looks back down and keeps.
oh my god. Like just driving by Harris Ranch. Hey kids, that's where your hamburger's made.
Oh man, yeah, totally. All right.
I don't
Well,
know.
are you ready to do
Okay,
this?
I'm ready.
I
I'm excited.
Heck yeah, everybody, I'd like to welcome Austin to the Coast Range podcast.
Hi.
This is the second video version of this that I've ever done. So I'm sure that this will, well, not ever, but like the Zoom version like this, I'm sure it'll all get screwed up and this thing will probably never go up and nobody
Cool.
will ever probably hear it. So,
Perfect. That works for me. Takes less pressure on me.
yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. So really quick, give us like a 2 minute, who is Austin and what, how did you find Coast Range CrossFit?
Well, I did my research. So,
Ooh,
okay, I'm Austin. I'm 28. I'm a mom of two. I'm a fiance. I'm a
congratulations.
hospice nurse. I don't know who I am. I don't know. So I'm just a person. I just fake it till I make it every day. But I found CrossFit via Facebook. So I went with one of my friends after high school to somewhere called TFL. And I
Mhm.
don't know if that was a CrossFit place back then,
Yeah, train
but
for life.
I had no idea. Like I knew nothing. She was like, "Hey, they do boot camp style workouts. Her name's Emily, and like we should go." And I'm like, "Okay." And so I went. I did like maybe 2 classes. That's generous, maybe. And I was just like, "Meh." And then in 2018, I like wrote a Facebook post about like I wanted to do CrossFit. And Amanda Poso messaged me and she's like, "Hey, I don't know if you remember who I am. Like we played field hockey together, but I go to this really awesome place called Coast Range, and you should go." And let me look back because my first response to her was literally, um, "I'm so interested, but just getting started in there, and because I've gained so much and I am so out of shape, I think I should lose a few pounds first."
Classic.
And she literally was like, it's a paragraph, right? And this is when she was in, she had lost 80 pounds. Like she was killing it, and so she's just a kick-ass girl.
Yeah,
And
she is.
so she was like, "You don't need to lose weight, just come in. Like you're never going to be prepared for CrossFit, just come." And then the conversation stopped. Like I don't know if I ever replied. And then I don't know, in April. Okay, so April 2018. This was in January when she was texting me. April, I was like, "Okay, can you tell me the place again? Like, where is it at?" And then I walked in the doors and I saw you and I was just like, "Okay, we're doing it." Like, and I was like in the thick of my like my food addiction, like, whatever. I was out of shape. I think I walked in there at 282 pounds. And I was so freaking scared. I was like, "I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to I have no idea what I'm going to do." And you were like, "Hey, let's get started." And I was like, "Okay."
So, what were your real thoughts like when you first walked in the door and like
Oh, I
Because I
feel like
know
I
for myself, even when I was like going to do CrossFit, I drove past the CrossFit gym that I joined like probably a dozen times and never went inside and was like super intimidated and super scared. Like, like what was it really like to actually step inside of a CrossFit gym?
I felt so I played field hockey in high school, and there's a moment when you're walking up at 6 a.m. when you're starting double days where you just feel sick. Like you know what's ahead of you, like you're just gonna just, I don't know. It's just like the
About to get
worst gut
destroyed.
feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt sick. Like I'm like, oh, I can't do this. I'm not gonna do it. I sat in my car and then I walk in and I saw you, and I feel like I've told you this before, and I was like, oh great, this guy's like right at the front desk, like you're in shape, you're tattooed. I'm like, douchebag. And it couldn't have been like more, I'm sorry, that's I don't mean to offend you, but like I couldn't have been more wrong, like I just say this guy and I'm like, oh god, this guy's like jacked, he's probably eating like a million meals a day, just whatever the stigma is of like fit people, and I'm just like, fuck, like okay, this is where I'm going. And
Oh,
then like everyone like was so nice to me, and I think Caroline, I don't know who was the first people, but Caroline was the first one to be like, hey, like, welcome. And I'm like, okay, these people are nice. Like, let's see until it wears off. And it never did.
yeah, it's
And
crazy,
people are
right?
just so cool. And I've met some of my really good friends at Coast Range now.
Oh, that's awesome. Very
Yeah.
cool. Well, hey, so right now is kind of like a crazy time, we're shelter in place and COVID-19 is happening. You're a mom of two
Mhm.
and you're working right now. Tell us what you do for a living.
So I work at a skilled nursing facility. Um, that's my daytime job. And then at nighttime, I am a hospice on-call visit nurse. So basically, I hang out at home until I get calls, and then I can be dispatched anywhere from, depending on my coverage that night, from Gilroy to, I think the farthest I've gone is like Hayward.
Oh, my goodness.
But it doesn't happen often where I go that far. But yeah, and I've been working a ton. I can't say that I'm on the front lines, like so many of our nurses at Coast Range, but definitely dealing with like the pressures of who's going to bring something into the facility, or what house am I going to walk into that people have it. And it's kind of amazing that people aren't really willing to share with you, oh hey, I'm having symptoms, just heads up before you come. And so like that like constant threat is a little intimidating and scary. And it's like we really rely on each other as a team to be like, hey, this patient's having symptoms, because we're not really testing people for, well, we are testing for hospice, but it's a lot different, it's just all about their comfort. So it's not like they have COVID, we need to send them to the hospital, unless the family decides that. So we kind of just put them on a little quarantine themselves. And yeah, so
Man,
I mainly deal with symptom management at hospice.
that's got to be tough for you though, coming home to two kids and, worrying about taking that into maybe somebody's home or even bringing that back to your own home. I'm sure that that's kind of,
Yeah. It's been, we've had the talk of, okay, because John works at City of Gilroy, and he is still working, thankfully, but he can also be exposed based on like the people he is around too. So we kind of had the discussion of, okay, if one of us bring it home, what's going to happen? Where are we going to sleep? Thankfully, my cousin has like an RV, so she said, if something happens, you can stay in the RV and just kind of quarantine yourself. But like, I couldn't imagine being stuck there for 14 days in my yard, and then my kids are like waving at me from a window.
oh,
And that's the reality of so many people
yeah.
right now, like across the country. And so we kind of, thankfully, we haven't had to deal with that yet, but we kind of just talked about like what we're going to do. And I still have no idea what I'm going to do, but
Man,
you know,
I wonder how it's going to be after this whole thing is like really done. They're like, hey, you guys, hug each other again. You'll be fine. And
yeah,
I feel like I'm still going to walk into the garage and take off all of my clothes and like hand sanitize and like spray everything down.
yeah.
Like it's
It,
like this routine that we've gotten into to be like so clean. It feels like it's going to be hard to just stop doing that.
and I think like to some extent we shouldn't. Like, I fully think that like the shoes you wear outside probably shouldn't come in the house like ever. And then when I it's probably bad, but when I go home from work is when I make my grocery stops.
Hmm.
So I tried, and I know that sounds bad, but like my facility's safe and like there's no COVID patients there. So I feel clean in a sense. So I would rather go in my scrubs and then come home, take everything off versus, okay, I'm clean, I'm showered. Now I'm going to go to the grocery store and expose myself. So, I mean, I don't know. I think we're building some good habits. I like that people are 6 feet away from me now. Like, stay back. People have a tendency to have no space, like
Yeah.
no personal space. So I
Well,
like it.
Austin's thriving right now during this shelter in
Oh
place.
no, I wouldn't say all that. If you ask Amanda, she's thriving, and I'm just like, you're a psychopath. Like I need human interaction.
Yeah,
So thankfully I'm getting it from work. So I feel like that's why I'm not as funky as I could be.
that's good.
But if I was stuck at home, I love my kids, but if I was stuck at home with my 2 kids, I would be going crazy. Like I would be jumping up the walls.
Yeah,
So
I've got a lot more gray hair at the end of this than I did at the beginning. That's for sure.
I'm surprised you don't have a full beard.
I had to shave off that gross mustache that I had.
Oh
I guess
gosh.
getting too bad. Okay, well, being a parent during this time, do you like? How's it been with the kids at home and trying to keep a routine going, and you also working out and stuff like that? Do you have anything that you guys have done that have been like kind of cool to get into a routine with the kids?
I decline to answer this question. We actually we lack a little routine right now. Sometimes routine causes more of a fight, and right now I'm just trying to make it through the day with as little meltdowns as possible. So Dom has been sleeping till like I don't know 10 a.m. and Peyton maybe like 9:30 sometimes. But like when she is awake, it's okay. Get up, breakfast, get dressed. You cannot stay in pajamas all day, and it's homework time. And let me just give a kudos to the teachers out there because I don't know how you do it. I would rather deal with a 60-year-old dementia patient than my 9-year-old trying to do fractions. So in that sense, we have like a school routine down, but I'm honestly not here for a lot of it because I'm at work. So my sister-in-law has really just kind of stepped in and helped me with babysitting and coming over and exposing herself to this house, so we can have a babysitter so we can both work. So she's actually here for the thick of it, and she gets them to do their homework. John was really good at too at first because he was only working like 3 days a week, so he was like on top of it. They were doing all their schoolwork and then PE, and I'm just like, dang, I didn't get that far.
That's awesome. Yeah, we've been trying to like come up with some type of a school routine with Joey, but I mean Joey's, like not even in preschool yet. So it's like,
Yeah.
what color is this? One, two,
Yeah,
three.
Dom with preschool, I'm like, okay, let's work on your tracing. No, I don't want to do that. And I'm just like, how do they do it? Like how, and there's like in his class, I think there's like 20 like 3 to 4 year olds, and I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So it's been a learning lesson, definitely. Like maybe uh well, I've learned Common Core. I can now do Common Core math. I think it's
That's
harder though.
that's different than how we learned, right? Like we learned to like carry the two, and they
Yeah,
don't do
so
that now.
Common Core is like sideways. Like you do everything sideways and break the numbers down, and then you have 6 numbers to add. And I totally think that stacking and adding is just so much easier. But you
Yeah,
know,
I don't get it either. It doesn't make any sense to me. Benny.
yeah, seriously. But I mean, it is what it is. And these kids are learning like algebra in 3rd grade, and it's pretty cool to see. And it's kind of intimidating, especially like home learning. But her teacher's been really cool of like, if they don't get it, it's fine. Like we'll go over it in Zoom. She has Zoom twice a week for an hour. So that's kind of cool too. But yeah.
Well, after we got kind of, or you got kind of involved with CrossFit, um, over this last, what was it, about a year and a half ago or so, you came up with the idea to do the barbells for boobs at the gym.
Yes. And it's amazing. And let me just pull up how much we raised. So
Oh, cool.
October is a really hard month for me. My mom passed away October of 2018. So last year when I approached you, I was like, I need something to do for the month of October so I don't have to process or deal with anything for this whole month. I'm very good at pushing things under the rug. I am a pro. So my mom actually passed away from melanoma, not breast cancer. I'm not going to tear up right now. But breast cancer affects so many families. So I was like, that hits home to everyone almost, right? Like almost everyone knows someone, is related to someone, loves someone that is fighting the breast cancer fight. So Barbells for Boobs is an amazing organization that really help people who are, doing active treatments, people that are in remission, people that are in recovery, kind of find their strength in their body again. And some of these people have never picked up a barbell, or some have. It doesn't matter kind of where their outlet is, but they just help them like regain the strength that they need to kind of get their body back under control after all their treatments and everything else. And then after that, they actually host like, what are they called, like getaways almost, where all of the survivors will come together, and it's kind of like a support group that they always have. And everyone's been through the same thing, so I can talk to someone who had a double mastectomy, but I have no idea what they're going through, like none. I could never process it. So it gives them an opportunity to meet people who have also gone through the same things that they've gone through. And so I thought, with your help, we had a pretty kick-ass fundraiser, and we raised, almost $1,500. And I, I didn't even know how much we were going to raise, but that's freaking awesome. And it was a lot of fun.
Well, I think the cool thing about it was we've done Barbells for Boobs in the past.
Yeah.
We've been open since 2013, and I think we've done it almost every single year. But it's never been Austin's Barbell and Boobs. And when Austin does stuff, it's like so awesome, and it's so great for me and Megan because it takes so much off of our plate whenever you or Joe or anybody on the like planning committee does
Yeah.
anything. And so the like tenacity and like fire that you went at it with, it was so awesome. Like walking in the gym and just seeing balloons everywhere, and there's streamers, and like you've got the wristbands, and you're just getting people fired up during something, and having such an amazing attitude during a time when a lot of people, for yourself being included, would probably do the opposite. They would huddle in and maybe not do anything and be super sad or super depressed the whole time. And you seem to find ways to like take this, really shitty thing that happened to you in your life and turn it around to be like, hey, how can we make this better for other people? I mean, have you
Yeah.
always been like that? Is that something that you've always been trying to do, is to help other people? Or is this like a new Austin?
Um, I think that varies based on who you ask. There's a lot of people that probably were like, no, that lady is a BIT. But I mean, it just depends. Really try to be positive in most things that I do. And like home life, everyone is different at home than they are at work. I feel, everyone kind of has a different, like at work, I have to be a little bit more professional and maybe not joke around as much. And, so everyone's a little different, but I do think that I have always been willing to help people. Um, I think a lot of it comes from hospice. I never wanted to do hospice. You asked me right out of nursing school, I was going to be, I was going to go right back, get my RN, work in an emergency room or ICU somewhere, and like kind of be able to just do fast paced nursing. And hospice really teaches you about life. Like, I think every nurse should have to dabble in hospice before they do anything else, because it teaches you like to work for something other than yourself. Like, hospice is a very selfless job, because I have seen more people, pass away probably than anyone, like than most people, than the average person. I come from an older family anyway, so most of my like grandparents and great aunts and both my parents have all passed away. So I think when you can help someone in that situation and you remember how you felt when your family member was dying, and you can make it even a little bit better for them, so that way when they look back and they're like, man, mom passed away, we had her at home, but we did everything we could and we have no regrets. That's my whole job right there, that they had no regrets. So I think in any aspect of my life, I want to help people, like, I don't know, just have a better time. Like, just life is too short to be too serious all the time. And Barbells for Boobs was only successful because of all of your members at Coast Range CrossFit, because I had help from literally everyone. Like, it was not I didn't really come up with much, actually. I just, Joe was the decorator, Caroline, just Kat, everyone brought something. Kat did the raffle table that I was just going to put 2 tables together and call it a day. And she's like, looked at me like, oh, no, no, no. And so she put like tablecloths and the balloons. And I'm just like, oh, okay. So I would like to take credit for Barbells for Boobs, but I cannot. It was a team effort. I hope to do it again, whenever, if October is like who knows what the reality is in October, but
Yeah, if
yeah,
we can party in October yet or
we're
not.
going to rage.
Yeah, from 6 feet apart.
Yeah. We'll just do. I saw a CrossFit gym in Modesto called Resident CrossFit.
Mhm.
They actually opened their doors, and they have like boxes 6 feet apart, and all the equipment is in each box.
In California?
Yeah. Let me double check. I'll send you the link. But yeah,
Hmm.
it's called. Oh my God, maybe I just got someone in trouble.
I
Never
hope
mind.
that they're not open because that's against the law. but yeah, we'll find
Can we cut that out of the?
out.
Oh
I feel
man.
like people are starting to get
Never
to
mind.
that point, right, where they're just going like, you know what, F it, we're gonna go hang out with friends, we're gonna go do it and just get out. And I'm hoping that doesn't happen too soon for everybody, and we have a resurgence of this whole thing,
I know. I'm actually one of those people where I'm just like, God, I'm so over this. Like, I'm so, like, I waved at my aunt is like really like the only person, like, she's my mother figure. And she has respiratory issues like up the wazoo. And so we said, like, if you get it, it's not going to be good. Like, so we're all just waving at her from a distance. I'm like, man, I'm sick of this. Like, it's crazy. But again, you just have to be positive and know, like, do your part. Wash your hands, stay home.
So let's talk more about that. Like you say, you just have to stay positive. I know for myself included, it's been really tough to have like a positive outlook during a lot of this, when almost everywhere that, I don't know, at least I look, I'm like, oh, there's a negative and there's a negative and there's a negative. So what are you doing to stay positive like during this?
I guess it depends on the day. Gardening has really helped, actually. Just having something to do, um, besides Netflix has been amazing. Like, nothing is permanent. Um, this will be done, like, the longer that more people like kind of just abide by what they're asking, the shorter we'll be done with it quicker, hopefully. So I don't know. I think I'm just kind of, some days I'm super positive and I'm like, I'm going to do a Zoom workout. I'm going to eat right. I'm going to get my kids to do all their schoolwork, and it works out. And then some days I'm just like, nah, like, whatever gets done will get done. I don't really have an answer to how to stay positive. Nothing is permanent. And it's been beautiful outside. When I drive to Gilroy or something, I see a bajillion people walking. Like, I think that this has been a time
Yeah.
where, I don't know, and I don't want to get religious, but like, I think the big man upstairs is like kind of telling everyone, isn't it nice to slow down and like meet your family, like know your family, like people, we all have our job and we're all in a hurry to go somewhere and do something. But like, what if you just slowed down and kind of got to know each other on a more personal level? Like, yeah, you live with them, but do you know them? So I think, for those that are struggling, financially and mentally, like, I don't have an answer for how to be positive in that situation. I am very blessed to still be working. And so I think if things were different in my life, I wouldn't have the same outlook. So I don't know. Keep your head up. Like, it'll be okay. It's gonna be fine. Everything will work out. That's all I know.
Well, let's talk about working out. I used to always say to people like that would come to join the gym, that they could do CrossFit anywhere, right? I'd be like, CrossFit's free. You could do it in your garage if you want to, and go get a jump rope and a kettlebell and do it. But what makes CrossFit different is the community. It's being in the gym with people. It's getting the text messages of where were you? I was there and you
Oh
weren't. What
yeah.
the heck, and that's what makes it work. It's not necessarily CrossFit, it's the community of CrossFit that makes it work.
Hmm.
And now that's been kind of torn away from people during this time. How are you doing with your fitness? How are you doing with staying healthy and keeping yourself motivated to eat well and to go to bed on time and to work out every single day when that community has kind of been taken away?
So I will be very honest. I am the person who thrives on the community. I've never been a like solo workout person ever. So working out at home is actually like a humongous struggle. Like just to find, I'm not busy, the whole time I'm here. And so I really can't use the excuse of, oh, I don't have time to work out. So for me, uh, Joe and Nat and Amanda and Jackie, just everyone like texting and being like, hey, you gonna join a workout? Or hey, what are you doing? Like, let's work out. And Joe's probably been one of the biggest ones because he's like 12 noon, like 50 question marks. And I'm like, yeah, So I think like the community aspect of CrossFit is something I never knew I needed. But now that I don't have it, like you said, like people don't know what to do. Like, yeah, I have a jump rope, I have an amazing workout, and I've done like 5 or 6 Zoom workouts. So
You've
it's
done way
just,
way more than 5 or 6. I see you on there a lot more than 5 or 6.
no, I really no. Like I don't know. I don't know how many I've actually done, but the workouts are awesome and like they're so greatly appreciated. But it's that I am strong physically. I know I am, but my mental strength is something that like I could have probably been doing like this whole quarantine is building my mental strength because I think that's one thing that I lack. So me getting outside to do the workout is kind of where I hit my wall. And it's been like that forever. Before quarantine, I dropped Peyton off at school. I drop Dom off. I go straight to the gym. And that's like, I am not a regimented person until I find the thing that works for me. And then when my routine breaks is when I have like the mental breakdown. And so now that I don't have that routine, I told you already, like, we don't have any routine right now. And that's probably what we're lacking. Um, I think that's why I'm all over the place, like with my eating, with my working out. I'll be honest, like I originally had gained like 6 pounds in quarantine. And Nat kind of pulled me, not obviously not pulled me aside, but she texted me and was like, hey, I think we should start something different. And I'm like, okay. Like she already knows I'm notorious for not um inputting things. Like I call it charting. I don't know what it's really called. I'll chart for like 2 days, 3 days on my food and I'll be fine. And then I'm just like, so she was like, hey, no pressure. Why don't you try keto again? You're home. Keto is something that is very kind of easy to follow. I'm not recommending it. I am not a dietitian or a nutrition coach. But it's easy for me to follow and it's worked for me as far as dropping some pounds. And for me, um, that's what I need. I need to see the scale moving. I've done nutrition with Nat, who I highly recommend Coach Range Nutrition. But I felt stronger when I was working with Nat, but my weight was like slowly decreasing. Whereas as someone who is heavier, I think mentally we need to see those numbers drop. So with keto, I'm like, oh, like a pound a day, like I'm on it. And then like being in ketosis is kind of a cool feeling, but it's also something that you can get out of instantly. One bite of bread or, like a piece of toast is going to kick you out.
Yeah, you smell carbs and you're out of ketosis.
But it's not the carbs for me. That's the thing. It's the sugar. I am a full-fledged sugar addict. literally in any sense. Like people will, the average person, hey, let's get a beer. And
Mm.
I'm like, hey, let's go get dinner and dessert. Like that's what I'm about. Is like the food connection for me, I think it has such an emotional connection. So I could probably go low to no carb for a really long time. I cannot kick the sugar. Like
Mm.
it's just so hard. They
And
said it's like more addicting than cocaine. So I'm full blown addict.
so where do you think that came from? Like some people can just, go through life and like, I don't really like candy. I don't really care about sugar. I don't really care about that stuff. And other people can't. Like, where do you think that comes from?
I started binge eating at a really young age. I think I was in fourth or fifth grade when I obviously I didn't know it then, but I know now where I lived with my dad who was very strict on what I ate. I lived in a ranch in the middle of nowhere, and he only went, grocery shopping was like a twice a month thing. So it was, you had 3 meals a day, you had a healthy snack like an apple in between, and that was it. And then on weekends when I would come home with my mom, bless her heart, she would take me to the grocery store, and literally whatever I wanted, she would buy me. And I felt like I needed to eat it all before I went back. So I probably gained, back then, I don't know how much I weighed, but like I probably gained a ton of weight in the weekend and felt like crap. Now I realize. And then I would go back and like my body would be shocked again. So I learned like binge eating was kind of my lifestyle for so long because, oh my God, the weekend I gotta eat everything now. Comes Sunday night, I'm going back to, whatever I was doing before. But so, and I've just carried it with me. I have literally, and working hospice really plays on your emotions. And so I think I have learned that food makes me feel better when it shouldn't. So, man, I have a bad day. Oh, I just want a dessert, or I want like lasagna. Every carbs are everyone's friend, but it's more of the dessert. Like, oh, I want ice cream or cake or something.
Yeah.
So,
I think we can all like agree that we have some form of that in us,
yeah,
like from the time you were a child, it was, you did anything good. Let's go get ice cream. Let's go do this. Let's go get
yep,
pizza. Let's go. And it's like the best memories of your life are tied around amazing food. And it's like, for some of us, maybe that happened every once in a while. And for some of us, that was like you, it was a way to connect with your mom, or your mom's way probably to connect with you. It was like,
yeah,
I got my baby. I'm going to give her whatever she wants. I'm going to
yeah,
love her as much as I possibly can. And you're trying to pour love into that, which is so tough and it's one of the main reasons why, like, I handed the nutrition stuff off to, Natalie and Brett, because how do you become like not only a nutritionist, but you have to become a therapist in a way when you're a nutritionist, because the problems that you're really dealing with are not just, hey, you need to change your macros from this to this.
yeah,
Well, how do we get over the understanding that food is not love?
yeah.
That working
It's
out and
counseling.
yeah, it is. It's 100% that. And it's so awesome and rewarding, but also it's so tough at the same time. So what you hope happens is that you teach, Austin or whoever it is that you're working with, that food is not love, that
Yeah,
loving your body is love. And then you hope that they pass that on to every single person that they're surrounded with, including like their kids. So what are you
hmm,
doing with, with Dom and your kids in order to make sure that that doesn't, I don't want to say like to make sure that doesn't happen to them, right? That's not what I'm saying.
yeah,
But to give them the understanding that, hey, you can have cookies and it's awesome, but we also don't consider this isn't why I love you. I'm not
yeah, exactly.
I love you.
And that's so hard because I grew up in a family where Sunday dinners were everything. You had to have a damn good excuse if you were not at a Sunday dinner with my grandpa, my grandma, my whole family came over. And that's something like I've tried to carry on with my kids is like we eat every meal, like every dinner we need to eat together unless I'm at work or something, but like we sit down and have dinner. And that's something that like my mom was so anal about, and I would used to get so annoyed, especially as a teenager or whatever. Like, I don't want to eat dinner with you. Like, I want to go up to my room, take my plate up there. And it was like, no, you're at the table like eating dinner. And so forming good habits is something that I'm still learning, you know? And I remember I've had conversations with people in the gym about like what they ate in their childhood. And then I'll talk about like, oh yeah, we were like a Kool-Aid Tang family. Like we didn't have any nutrition guidelines growing up. And I mean, I speak for my whole family, my cousins and everything. Like we didn't have that, you know? Like we didn't have that structure of this is bad, this is good, like these are good fats, this is what you should and shouldn't eat. So I think learning that, and I don't think I really started learning that until I started with Nat. And that's at 28 years old, you know? So like I had my idea of I need to eat this, this, and this to be healthy. And then, you know, you work with a nutrition coach that kind of blows up your whole world, like in a good way. But I'm just like, oh my God, like I'm eating all these things and I have no idea what's in them. And I've never cared to look because they're quote unquote healthy, you know, like I got really big into like the Atkins or Special K bars and just all that crap. And it's literally crap. Like there's so much bad stuff in it. And so what we're trying to teach, it's a struggle too, but what we're trying to teach Peyton is like, you don't need all the processed food. You know, you don't need it. We need like to be eating more fresh food. And we've in a sense kind of ruined her a little bit too, because, you know, I didn't start working with a nutrition coach until like a year and a half, 2 years ago, or no, a year and a half ago. I don't even know how long. I don't know. But like, so she's already has some bad habits that I see, like she wants dessert after every dinner. And I'm like, oh, I am, you know, it's hard. And dessert to her is not like, okay, you can have an apple. Dessert to her is like, I want an ice cream bar or something like that. So try to limit, like, for me and my nutrition, what I limit in the house is what I can control. I literally have no control over my mind telling me, oh, there's Pop Tarts, go eat one. But I have control over saying, I'm not going to go buy that. And so that's kind of where the struggle is right now. And I struggle every day. Like it is an everyday thing. So I don't know, I'm trying to teach my kids to be better.
It's tough though. The way like I like to look at it is like you're a first generation of this. So imagine like
Yeah.
you're coming from a different country to America as a first generation, trying to learn the language, trying to get a job, trying to just figure out the laws and everything, and you're just so lost and you're spinning. But the next generation, so your children, they're going to have an easier
Hmm.
time learning the language, knowing the laws, figuring things out because they're surrounded by it.
Yeah.
Now, some of us might come over with kids that are, Peyton's age or Dom's age. And yeah, there's a little bit of a learning curve, but I think it's almost more powerful in a way for them to see their parent changing, struggling, going through this and figuring it out with them in a way that
Yeah.
makes them understand that, like, wow, food is a really big deal. Like, that this is not something that's meant to just be like, whatever, let's just, it's just food, eat whatever you want, enjoy it. That it's like, no, this can be either the most powerful medicine in the world or the most powerful poison in the world,
Yeah.
depending on how you treat it.
Yeah, and I think Peyton has seen me because I mean I've been on every fad diet there was, and so I think for her that could also be like a little unhealthy as well because like first of all my consistency just kind of stinks, but uh you know she sees like me focusing on a number on the scale, and she, you know, by default I weigh myself almost every morning. I know that's terrible. That's another addiction that I have. We'll talk about that later, but like
Austin, I don't think that that's terrible if it motivates you.
it does. Like
You know,
that number, seeing that number change either like, oh, I know I had a bad day yesterday and this is the result of it versus, man, like, look what I'm doing. Like, I'm doing good. I had another good day. Like, even if it's a few ounces, like, it clicks for me. And I do it every morning. And I've caught Peyton getting on the scale and I'm like, don't you dare. Don't you get on it. Don't you worry about what that number says because she's a thick girl. You know, she is just like built like a tank. And she's out there on the trampoline every day doing flips,
Peyton
you know.
could be like CrossFit Games
Yeah.
material.
I would
Girl,
love.
for everybody who doesn't know, she can already handstand walk. She can already do pull ups. She's like
Yeah.
one of the best gymnasts in the world.
She's over there and like, you know, she's having a hard time with this whole thing and not going places and whatever. So she's out on that trampoline taking her frustrations out a lot during the day, back flips, front flips. She watches a lot of cheer videos now. So we're doing cheer out there. But like, I'm trying to teach her that that number doesn't matter for her right now. But what matters is what she's eating. So we have a little thing when I'm home, we eat salads for lunch. That's what it is. And she came up with it. She was like, how about mom, every day we eat a salad for lunch? Okay. Like it literally came out of her mouth. So I make sure I have like lettuce and, whatever she needs in her salad, croutons, but mainly croutons. But it's green and she's eating it. So I'm okay
Yeah.
with it, But like how you said, being a first generation eater, healthy eater, it is overwhelming. Like the things I thought were healthy are not 90% of the time. There's like a bajillion different options for like grass fed, grass finished. I'd never heard anyone say that until you just said it. Farm raised, wild caught. There's so many things that you have to be aware of, like when you're going to the grocery store. And so I'm just trying to make a little bit more mindful choices of like, we don't eat the hamburger that comes in like a tube. I've never eaten that, by the way, but it scares me because it just, it's suspicious. Like, I, I try to eat like, grass-fed beef, or I buy wild caught salmon now, which does taste a little different than farm raised. But yeah, I mean, that's where it's starting. We're still starting.
So you've
You're
obviously learned a
frozen.
lot. Oh, am I there? Hello.
You're there. Hi.
You've obviously, I'm sure, learned a ton of stuff over your time working with Natalie or doing nutrition. What are some of the things that you've learned that have been like real big kind of light bulb moments as far as nutrition goes?
There have been literally so many. She has blown up my entire world. I think it's just one of her biggest things is, if your ingredient list on the food you're eating is this big, it's probably not good for you. And she can attest, I send her pictures of my food labels all the time. And 90% of the time she's like, it's junk, don't buy it. And like, because if like Costco, just random Costco things, right? Nat, this looks healthy. Is it healthy? And she's like, let me see the ingredients. And she says no. So I've learned from her, one of the biggest things, the fewer the ingredients that there are, the better it is for you. And if you can pronounce every ingredient, that's even better. And so it's crazy, like, to think about it that way. Like there's a million ingredients and I have no idea what it is. And she's kind of just taught me like, well, what are you putting in your body? And anyone that has worked with Nat knows how she is with her nutrition, like her personal nutrition. Yeah, too, huh? And so she's hard to not rub off on. She will rub off on you, even just talking to her 5 minutes of nutrition and like how it's broken down in your body and like, whatever. And the ingredient thing is probably my biggest thing that she has taught me. Like, can you read all the ingredients in it? How many are there? And so I look for that now, and I never did before at all. I didn't care. I'm just like, oh, it looks healthy, I'm going to eat it.
Yeah, it's cool to be in a grocery store and see people turn things around and look at the back.
Yeah.
When you see that, you're like, oh, okay, that person knows what's going on. And I wish more people would do that, because there's so much to be just gained and learned from by turning something around and just looking at the back of the package, for sure. But
Yeah.
I feel like, especially during this time, during the shelter in place and stuff, it's when you go to the grocery store, and this, I'm completely guilty of this myself, that it's like you go to the grocery store and you're just like, you know what? I don't really care right now. I got nobody to see. I'm just going to go and get what I want. Nobody's going to know. What are you doing to kind of combat that, or to keep the home the sacred place where there's not that type of food in there?
I am determined to not come out of this quarantine 15 pounds heavier. I think it's a thing, quarantine 15, like freshman 15.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think,
sure.
yeah, I think it's a thing. And so I'm damn determined that I will not come out of this heavier, like Corona, all that crap has taken us out of our element in every aspect that could possibly be. And if the only thing I have control over is what I'm buying and what I'm eating, then then we'll do it, you know? I'll try to do it. I'll make an effort. But like there are days where I'm just like, God, I just want some chocolate, or, you know, I don't know, I want to eat a freaking Stouffer lasagna.
Well,
And
especially now, I mean, we're looking for love any way that we can get it, or some sort of
yeah.
comfort. And if that's your comfort and that's your love, then you're gonna go for it, especially if it's in the house, you know. So I
Hmm.
think like one of the best things, just don't bring it home if you can't, you know,
Yep.
just keep it at the grocery store and keep it there.
I try to be more like with Dom, because Dom is the number one snack thief in our house. He no, I swear, like he's the worst. You'll move a couch cushion and you'll find wrappers under there, or like smashed gold, you know, random stuff he'll eat. And so I try not only to just put the snacks high enough so they have to ask me, like, hey mom, can I have this? And they're pretty good. Well, Peyton is good about asking if she can have something, but Dom, you have to put it high enough. So either he has no idea where it's at, or he has to come ask you for a snack. And he loves fruit. Like he really does. He will eat any fruit that there is. And so I think keeping like a fresh fruit in the house that, you know, even if it's $10 pack of strawberries, because everything's so expensive right now, like it's worth it. And uh that also helps me, because if it's not in the house, I'm not going to eat it too. So yeah, I don't know, but it is hard because you can't eat out. We've saved a lot of money by not eating out this month. And John has kind of been the sole cook. So he's been pretty much making everything. We attempted a sourdough like everyone else in this world, and it didn't come out very sour, but yeah, we've been making a lot of like whole fresh dinners, and that's been really nice. It's a nice change.
Yeah, he's a pretty amazing.
Oh, you're frozen again.
Oh no, he's a pretty amazing barbecuer. That's for sure. I
Always.
see some of the stuff that you guys put up, and it's like the smoked brisket, and you know the amazing like pieces of beef that he's cooking is pretty awesome. Now we're back.
Oh, yes. I'm like, no.
All good, all good. Okay. So I think we should kind of wrap it up anyways, but I wanted to ask you, going once we're out of this thing and coming back into, I guess, the normal world, we're back in the gym again, we're, you know, seeing our friends again. What are some of the things that maybe you or I or other people might have taken advantage of during the, you know, the normal times that now you just can't wait to get back to, and you know, start doing that thing again?
What is my thing that I can't wait to get back to?
Yeah.
Quite literally, and I'm not saying because I'm on your podcast, but I literally cannot wait to be back in the gym. Like, at all. Like, that is one thing. I mean, I really miss Disneyland, you know, I really miss Disneyland. My wallet does not. But I don't that's not something that I need, you know, I don't need Disneyland. A nice trip like somewhere slow, Monterey, that'd be nice. I would need one of those. But like I just want to get back to my routine of the gym and like my happy place. And for that 1 hour of my class, I'm not a mom, thank God, because you have childcare. I am not a nurse. I'm not anyone. I'm Austin, and I'm just trying to get fitter, you know, whatever that means, slightly fit. But I can't wait. Like that's the only thing that I'm just like, gosh, like if you guys could just open and like 4 people work out at a time, I would literally line up there like and wait my turn to just be there. You know what I mean? Like I think that that's one of the things in my life I never knew I really needed until I didn't have it. And I haven't I've been with you guys 2 years, but I took a pretty big chunk out like right after I first started, like from August to I think like November. Like that's when my mom got really, really sick and actually passed away. And but like since I think you text me about coming back in November, I came back November 1st, and I have been like almost every day or pretty dang consistent with it, uh unless I work or something random. But like that's my place. In the morning, that's my place. Like, yeah, that's what I need. That's what I need in my life.
Well, I'm right there with you. I went over to the gym the other day and just Zamboning the floor, even though there's no need to Zamboni the floor right now. And I just wanted to be in there, you know? So I feel you.
Yeah, it's well, especially for you guys, because that is your home. That's I mean, I think that's a home for a lot of people. And I could actually probably be in there. Like when I'm there, I feel at home. I've never once felt like, out of place or anything. But like for you guys, especially, like, shoot, I'd be zamboning that floor every day. Or like, especially you, like, go work out there, go be in your element and turn the radio on as loud as you can and pretend like you're just in between classes and you're working out. You know what I mean? Like whatever normalcy you can give yourself, man, just do it. Just go work out. Just go listen to music there. I don't know.
I have done
There's
that on a couple
emo music.
weekends. Just gone over there and sat there and just stared at the floor and turned the music on and just kind of like
Yeah.
envisioned what it's going to be like when we come back for sure. But
Just process things. Yeah. I don't know.
yeah. Well, thanks for being with us, Austin. I really appreciate
Thanks.
it. I think that there's definitely some nuggets that some people are going to take away from this as far as like not only having a positive outlook on this whole thing, but, dealing with kids during this and, understanding that like, food is tough during this time and there's some cool things that we can do with it, especially for our kiddos. And yeah, I really appreciate you being on here.
No problem. One thing, like, make the dinners that you never had time to make. Like, John has made some crazy, like, a lot of them have been like Mexican dishes, but like, make the things that you never had the time to make and just try different food. Because, like, everyone's like, I don't have time to cook. Well, guess what? You have nothing but time. Make that loaf of sourdough, cook something crazy, but like, just be in control of what you can control. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Heck yeah, Austin. All right. If people would like to get a hold of you, are you okay with that? Like asking questions as far as like being a parent during this time or struggling with food or anything?
Yeah, heck yeah. I don't know if I have much parental advice. I am more of the,
I'm asking that because I look up to you as a parent for sure. Like the way that you deal with Dom and Peyton and how awesome of kids that they are. Like
oh,
I want to know the tips and the tricks that you're doing so that my kids can be just as cool as yours are. So yeah,
oh my God, that is such a compliment. But yeah, like, and I think every parent can take something away from each other. No one raises their kids the same. And some things that people do, I'm like, dang, I should probably do that, or I should pick that up, or whatever. But yeah, just get a hold of me. I don't know my Instagram. Just type in my name. Austin Clifton. I don't know. You can text me, call me, whatever you want to do.
awesome, you guys. Okay, well, Austin, thanks for being on.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it.
Okay, bye.
Bye.